I just went down to buy like some candy because I heard the 50 cent store candy store music, and turns out it was a scam. I was smart to step back in. I was filming this at 5 p.m. If you don't notice, probably you don't notice. I'm filming in my room. Yeah, you will notice. Anyway, welcome to part what number it was? I'm sorry. Part something of series of my writings that you don't give a shit about, but I still made you listen to this. In fact, you don't have to listen to this in number orders or anything. You can just listen to this anytime. Or maybe when you're doing the laundry, you're bored, and suddenly you remember that there's this kid who sent a video of her talking about stupid thing. You could open it up and then laugh because of my stupidness. I can deal with that. And if you remember, I've talked once about a fanfic, not fanfic, a writing of mine that happens to copy the exact idea of a famous anime that I have never even heard of. And it was total plagiarism, but in an unintentional way. It's weird, right? And guess what? It happened once again. Like, what the hell, Lindan? But this is a more special case though. How do I say this? My writings came before the original came up. So technically it was them who copied me. Okay, so maybe you're not understanding, but basically my writings, it existed before, but somehow there's this anime that had the exact idea. No, not anime, I'm sorry. A Vocaloid musical video that had the exact idea. It came out like later. So for your information, my writing came in 2013. I know. Wow, that was a bit early. Yes, it happens to be one of those. Yeah, I wrote it in like a post-it note that I stick inside of my book, inside of the book that I had all of my writings. And how do I say this? The cover of it was pretty, it was well damaged, so I couldn't make out what I was actually writing about until I saw the keyword, one keyword, and I remembered everything. Peter Pan. And now for your information, that Vocaloid musical video was called The Portrait of the Pirate F. No, just Portrait of Pirate F. I just add the because it sounds more complete. I don't know. Now, in order for you guys to understand the plot of the music video and the plot of my writing, basically, I don't know where the music video director came up with the idea, but in my case, how do I say this? Peter Pan was one of those stories, fairy tales that Disney twisted into something so innocent when in reality, wow, you can point out so many wrong things about Peter Pan. And of course, I acknowledged that fact and I decided to read the original Peter Pan. Translated in Vietnamese, of course, because at that time I wasn't a really good English student. And when I read it, I came across this paragraph that mentions that Peter says that Tinkerbell wasn't his first fairy and she wasn't supposed to be his last fairies either. She just happens to have a longer lifespan than other fairies. I don't know what happened to other fairies. Either they are killed, they are captured, or they just die naturally. Or maybe fairies' lifespan are actually short. Either way, turns out the fairies could actually be replaced. So I'm like, interesting. So that means the Peter Pan could be replaced too, right? And of course, a whole idea just popped out in my mind as if there was a light bulb above my head and it just goes ding. I'm like, totally worth it. I could totally turn this into a writing, into a story. And so, well, from this part, you can just consider it as me talking about the plot of the music video because it happens the same way, okay? A random boy who like Peter, but not necessarily have to be Peter, I don't know. He thinks that the reality is so cruel, and he doesn't like studying all of those things. He just wants to play all the time. And one day, Tinkerbell, well, not necessarily Tinkerbell, you can think of her as the Tinkerbell, or just one of the fairies that happens to look exactly like Tinkerbell. Sorry. She suggested that him going to Neverland, and with all of those sweet offers, he decided to go to Neverland as well. And he had fun. He became the Peter Pan. He sang with the mermaids, he played with all of the Indians, and of course, the time has come, he had to fight Hook. And of course, as in the original film, Peter Pan did actually defeat Hook. And you know what? How do I say this? Children, they love to play, but when they play with the same thing over and over again, they will get sick of it. They just want new thing. And of course, especially after the fact that the only danger in Neverland was eliminated, aka Hook, it was too peaceful. To many people, it is complete joyfulness. But to Peter, no, I want new stuff. And this is the part where I was surprised because it happens, how do I say this? Kind of like the same. In the music video, Peter went to Captain Hook's ship and found his diary, while in my story, Peter actually found the diary in Tinkerbell's, like, I don't know, house, I don't know, those weird little mushroom house that she had, because he was curious. And of course, at that time, Peter, in both the musical videos and in my stories, discovered that the Hook was actually the old Peter Pan. In other words, it's not true that you cannot age in Neverland. You will eventually grow up. And all the Peter Pan, when they grow up, they will become Captain Hook. And it's sort of like a cycle. Tinkerbell will keep bringing new boys, and the new boy will somehow defeat Captain Hook, who happens to be the old boy. And of course, the new boy will follow the path of the old boy, become Captain Hook, and they just start all over again. Kinda like that. But different from the music video, it ends there. But in my story, different though. How do I say this? It's a bit different. In the music video, there's only one Tinkerbell, while in my story, there are multiple Tinkerbells and multiple Peter Pan. One of the fairies in the past have acknowledged the fact that replacing Peter Pan all over again would not be a good thing. And in the end, the Neverland would never be happy because the fairies are salty and they wanted to bring a human boy into Neverland. Or girl, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. And of course, she tried to stop the Peter Pan. And of course, the other fairies, they were like, nuh-uh, that's not happening in my region. And that fairy was eliminated. Yep. By how, I don't know. I just had to search. I think I had to search about the fairies' lifespan, whether they are long or short. Okay. And of course, that is like prior to the main story. I know, that's just so stupid. And the real story is actually how the old fairy traveled back to London, wherever the place Wendy is from, and she decided to find a hero that could stop Peter Pan, the Peter Pan cycle from reforming itself by, I don't know, stopping the fairies. And she decided to do it with the force of a human girl. Oh no, not human girl, that would be sexist. A boy or a girl, whoever, just a human. She will brought that kid to Neverland. That kid will, of course, like regular main characters in all the fictional stories, they are somehow different from other child. Maybe she could be like, she would not be interested in the idea of not being able to age. She might be someone who's responsible for someone her age and enjoys growing up. And of course, the story will proceed. The main character will win. The Peter Pan cycle will stop. Neverland will have its peace. The end. I actually focus on the story prior to the main events. Actually, I know that's stupid of me, but somehow I don't like to focus on the main events. Like, that's your thing, but my thing, I like the thing that is prior to the main event, okay? And of course, we're gonna discover out that there's a musical channel that follows the plot that is 90% the same as mine. I was like, okay, wait a minute, I already have problem with Puella, Maki, Madoka, my forget that. I really have problem with that. And I have this shit too. God damn it. I felt like when God was creating me, he decided to pour in like a few corn size pepper of plagiarism, unintentional plagiarism. God, why did you do this to me? Why? I don't want to keep accidentally copying this again. Well, technically, in this case, they were copying me, but I don't know them. They don't know me. They're Japanese. I'm Vietnamese. We're like we couldn't even reach each other, and suddenly I feel like the world is so small, and suddenly I feel afraid to even come up with new things because somehow I feel like when an idea of mine is so awesome, but then it turned out another person has really come up with it. It is such a letdown. It is not a mood, okay? Anyway, thank you for listening to another story of my plagiarism. I think there will be a part 3. I will search again in my bundle. Thank you.